Hi, and welcome to another edition of Jules Voto's Photo Focus. Now, first a little note before I begin. I am recording this on March 16th, 2024. This video won't be published until April 22nd of 2024. And the reason for that is I've already recorded a bunch of videos for the rest of March into April. And the reason I did that is it's coming up on my real busy season, and I've been doing 2 videos a week since the middle of January, and I want to continue doing that, so I figured I would just do them ahead of time. What I really want to talk about today is Nikon and what's happening with Nikon. And one of the reasons I decided to do this is it seems anytime I go on YouTube, there are more and more and more reports of a Nikon Z6III. And Nikon rumors, who's saying, here, I'll just go over some of the videos that I have seen. Nikon Z6 specs leak. Biggest surprise, Nikon Z6. Z6 final details. Z6 might arrive sooner than expected. Z6 rumors were wrong. Over and over, I keep seeing this, and I've been seeing this for almost a year. I believe I saw some of these back a year ago, around the time that the Z8 came out. So I guess it's due for an update. The Z6 II is due for an update. So most likely we will be seeing that, but it's just over and over and over. I'll do something on the Z6, and I have no intention of buying one. I'm perfectly happy with my Z8. But I'll talk more about a Z6 when we know for sure what it's going to be. I am sure if there is a Z6, that it's already in the hands of some influencers who get things, get cameras, lenses early. And I'm sure, like I said, if there's a Z6, it's out there somewhere. But I also want to talk a little bit more about what Nikon has been doing. The Z8 I purchased when it first was introduced last May. Now recently Nikon had a firmware update for the Z8. Soon as it came out, I updated my camera, and I am very pleased so far with that firmware update. And I'll be doing videos. I've already done a couple videos on it, but I will be doing more as time goes on, as I get to explore some of these firmware updates. And one that I'm very interested in is the new bird detection. And I tried to do something on it, but I was trying to shoot some birds in flight, but there were no birds that they went out. So I'll try to get to that soon. But I just want to talk for a minute about some of the lenses. Nikon has been great with lenses. When the Z cameras were first introduced back in 2018, the Z6, the Z7, I think there were 3 lenses, the 35 1.8, the 24-70 f4, and the 50mm 1.8. And they gradually expanded their line. And now I think it's pretty complete. We're still waiting on the 35 1.2, which was rumored to be out last year. But we were pleasantly surprised with the 135 1.8, by the way, which I am filming this video on right now on the Z8, set at 1.8. So it's about 16 feet away from me. I'm almost at the limit of my space here, but I just wanted to shoot, first time I'm shooting video with it. And we also were surprised, although we knew there was going to be a 200 to 600, it actually was a 180 to 600. The reviews on that have been great. I do some bird photography, some wildlife photography. I currently use the 70 to 200 2.8 with the 2-time teleconverter. I know that 180 to 600 would be better, but it's kind of heavy, and I like to handhold, especially for birds in flight. And I don't know, I think that lens is kind of heavy for me. I'd rather have the 400 4.5. Of course, that's a lot more expensive, but no plans for me to purchase any of those either of those two lenses this year. I don't do enough bird photography to justify that. But I am very happy with Nikon. I'm glad I stuck with them. I know when the Z6 and Z7 were introduced, in fact, I got the Z6, so I guess a few months after it was introduced, there were a lot of people complaining, one card slot, no proper grip. One card slot really didn't bother me because the XQD cards are very reliable. I've now had that camera, oh my God, it's 5 years. Hard to believe. It was early 2019 when I picked my Z6 up, and never had a card failure, never lost an image due to a problem with the card. So, you know, wedding photographers, I understand you need 2 card slots, but they answered that when they came out with the Z6 II, and that had a proper grip and the dual card slots. So they solved that issue. But there's still a lot of complaints about the autofocus on the Z6 II. It's not as good as some of the competitors. And I would agree with that from what I've seen, but the Z8 solved that. The Z8 autofocus is excellent, as good as the Z9. Although I don't have a Z9, I understand from people who do that that autofocus is fabulous as well. So I think when they do come out with this Z6III, hopefully they will improve the autofocus. I don't really want to see more megapixels. I think 24 megapixels is a nice sweet spot for a camera for low light photography. My Z6, even though it's a 5-year-old camera, actually does better at high ISO than my Z8. The Z8's great, but the Z6 will go, I'd say, about a stop, maybe a little bit more better than the Z8. So I'd like to see them keep that, just improve the autofocus. I know there's talk of some improvements with video. That doesn't concern me as much. The Z8 is great for video, and so is the Z6. I'm happy with the video from the Z6. But, and I'm not that heavy into video, so I'm more concerned with still photography. So I think this is going to be a great year for Nikon. So let's see what happens. Maybe by the time you watch this video on April 22nd, a Z6III will have been introduced, because they have said, a lot of these YouTube videos and articles that I've read are saying somewhere between January and April. Well, we're halfway through March, still nothing, but they still have another month and a half. So maybe we'll see something by the end of April, or by the time you are viewing this video on April 22nd. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And by the way, if you have any questions, any thoughts, if you know something, or if there's something you would like to see in a Z6III, please leave it in the comments below. I will usually respond to all comments. So I usually come out with a new video every Monday morning and Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time.